The story of FKA Twigs. Like most other childhood prodigies, FKA Twigs spent a lot of her childhood alone due to her wildly different interests and wise beyond her years perspective. Born on the 16th of January 1988 as Tahliah Debrett Barnett in Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, Twigs was the only person of colour in her whole school up until 6th form, or grades 11 and 12 for Americans. Not only did this naturally add to her feelings of isolation, Twigs was actively bullied because of it, saying in an interview, "People said horrible things about something I had no control of, which was tough." While the other kids were off playing tag in the playground, Twigs was sneaking off to the bottom of the field, imagining pulling herself up a solitary spider thread. In Twigs' words, "If I kept following that, I just thought to myself, it's gonna lead to a door, and behind that door is where I should be." Even as a 6-year-old, Twigs was interested in the classic. Ballet, opera, old ladies singing jazz and gospel, she was born a natural performer. However, all these pursuits came at a price that her mother and stepfather had a lot of difficulty fulfilling as she became more and more involved in training. Twigs' mother is a salsa dancer / teacher and clothing designer / seamstress of English-Spanish descent. Twigs' father is a jazz dancer of Jamaican descent. When Twigs was young, her parents split, so for a while she only lived with her mother until her stepfather moved in. She wouldn't see her father again until she was 18. When Twigs was 7, she was already training in 6 different dance styles and had just started to compete in dance competitions. Her stepfather told her that she would need to be twice as good as the white girls in her class if she wanted to stand out. Twigs saying, "If I wanted to win a dance competition, I couldn't really afford to be good. I had to be excellent. It had to be so obvious that I was going to win that it would be ridiculous if I didn't." So at a young age, Twigs formalized her motto, "Preparation plus opportunity equals success," and set to work, winning most of the competitions she entered. She was nicknamed Twigs around this time because her bones clicked like snapping branches every time she danced. And when Twigs was 12, she managed to win a scholarship to the girls' school at St. Edward's, a private Catholic school for boys and girls aged 11 to 18. As well as attending dance lessons, Twigs also participated in opera lessons throughout her youth and used to sing in jazz bands when she was only 13 years old. Unlike her friends who were listening to Take That and the Spice Girls, Twigs spent much of her time alone, falling in love with Billie Holiday, Marvin Gaye and Ella Fitzgerald. One of Twigs' earliest musical memories is when her parents used to play her jazz, ska and African fusion. Twigs also made her own musical discoveries when she was a young teenager, listening to the new wave sounds of Susie and the Banshees and Adam Ant. Around the age of 15, Twigs started to feel the alienation caused by her skin color even more. Her mother would do all she could to make her feel beautiful, telling her hair was lovely and her skin color was gorgeous, but she didn't feel it. She'd pump me up at home and I'd be like, "Yes, I'm pretty," and I'd get dressed up and think, "Yes, I feel good." And then I'd go to the skill disco, and as soon as I got there, I'd want the floor to eat me because all my friends had this perfectly straight, blonde, highlighted hair. However, Twigs found a positive offset to her experience at school in her success at dance. She started to take on freelance dance gigs as young as 13, and until she was 16, she regularly traveled to London to take on dance jobs and modeling jobs that were based on dancing and music. At the same time as being a freelance dancer, Twigs was also in a band at the age of 16 called Delirium and started to take her songwriting much more seriously. She started going to a local youth club in her area where there was a music studio and would often collaborate with rappers. Eventually people started saying, "You've got a really nice voice, you should start doing your own stuff." So Twigs started getting more and more involved with music. When she was 17, Twigs decided to move to Croydon, South London with her mother to pursue her career in dance and enrolled in a dance program at the Brit School, a performing arts institution whose alumni includes Amy Winehouse and Adele. Twigs recalls, "So I turn up on my first day in the pink leotard with my hair in a bun, with my farmer's accent like, 'Hi guys,' and everyone's like, 'No, absolutely not.' My shoes went missing, my leotards, I think I lasted a month." While there, she realized she was more interested in music than dance, but she was rejected from the music program. So she left and went to nearby Croydon College to study 6 A-levels: sociology, psychology, fine art, English literature, philosophy, and French. After leaving college, she wanted to get into the music industry, but couldn't work out how. So she became a youth worker in Borough and Tower Bridge, where she taught teenagers how to sing, dance, write poetry, and play music.
Hi, I'm Twigs, I'm 22, and I'm here today at Gateway in Borough because I'm getting involved in the Shine project.
Twigs thought about becoming an art therapist, but fate intervened 2 years later when government budget cuts made her redundant. She decided to take on a job that would harness her performance abilities and worked for a few years as a hostess and cabaret performer on London's late-night performance circuit. She worked at clubs such as Tiger and The Box, where she would incarnate a character she has described as a cross between Jessica Rabbit and Betty Boop. Twigs has said that she often felt like a lamb to the slaughter, but developed nerves of steel on stage. At the same time as being a youth worker and later a burlesque performer, Twigs was also a backup backup dancer, still taking dance gigs whenever she could. She would become notorious in the industry as the one-take wonder, and it got to the point where her fees were double the other girls, and she wouldn't even have to audition. She worked on videos for artists such as Kylie Minogue, Ed Sheeran, Jessie J, and Tahliah Cruz. As all this was happening, Twigs was slowly making her way through the music industry, and in 2010 had the breakthrough when she signed with the London-based indie label Young Turks after crossing paths with their A&R rep Tick Zogson at a bondage party. While she was still working as a cabaret performer, Tick introduced Twigs to producers and songwriters who would help her to create some demos that would later form her first EP, EP1. But before she released any music, a miracle came in the form of a photographer, Matthew Stone, who approached Twigs while she was working at a club. He came up to her and said, "I really want to shoot you." She turned around, looked him in the eye, and told him, "Everyone does." Matthew would later track her down for a mutual friend and set up a photo shoot that ended up with Twigs on the cover of ID in August 2012. It immediately caused waves across the industry and interest into who was this brand new star on the cover. A few months later, she would release her first body of work, EP1, with a self-directed video alongside every song. People started to gain interest into who this mysterious figure was. However, it was her second EP, EP2, produced by Arca and Twigs, that really set the ball rolling, with the videos for singles Pappy Pacify and Water Me soaring into the public consciousness. Before her first US tour in 2014, Twigs changed her name to FKA Twigs after the unknown indie band The Twigs sued her for copyright infringement. At the time, the FKA was rumored to mean formerly known as. However, Twigs has said that she only chose the letters because she liked the way they sounded. Finally, only a year later, she released her debut album, LP1, which received widespread critical acclaim and placed high on several year-end critics lists. The album was nominated for the 2014 Mercury Prize and the award for Best Recording Package at the 2015 Grammy Awards. It debuted at number 16 and 30 on the UK and US charts respectively, and has since sold over 100,000 copies. Let me know in the comments how much you already knew of Twigs' story and how much you found out and what you thought of the video. And before I go, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.